Hello everyone, this is Jordan bringing in a topic video, which I haven't done a topic video since February, which I think it's time to give it a return. And I didn't originally plan this until I checked I had one slot left for October, so I was about to put a video focused on Seinfeld, but that will be next week. Anyways, what is this topic going to be about? Well, I thought about this less than a week ago, so this will be an interesting one and a pretty emotional one. The video, the topic, is going to be about celebrities and or famous person passing away. Yeah, with the passing of comedian Norm Macdonald, I feel like to do a topic of that. Every year or a couple years, depending how long this has been, celebrities and famous person usually pass away when news pop up and people get a shock reaction. There are three phases of each age. The young ones between babies and young adults, but not in the 30s. Middle-aged ones between 30s to 60-year-olds. And the oldies between 70s and even above 100 years old. And not only that, but because of the cause of death. What if it's drugs, cancers, natural causes, assassinated, transportation crash, etc. They have been gone, but people around the world will never forget about them and will always be remembered. So let's start of each individual group of it, because I have a lot to talk about famous people and it will be impossible to clue them all in the video. I'll start with the 90s first because I was born in that decade. Bob Ross, an art instructor, painter, and host on PBS called The Joy of Painting, passed away in July 1995, which that was 4 months after I was born. Now, people between my age know him because he gained a cult following. Now, I heard of his name until like 2012 because I was taking art class when I was a junior in high school. So that was my introduction to Bob Ross. Now, Selena, a singer, passed away on March 31st, 1995. That's 2 weeks after I was born. Think about it. I was born on March 18th, and then almost 2 weeks later, March 31st, Selena died. Now, how did she die? Well, the manager did it. We'll talk about assassination in a second. Another one I wanted to mention is Eazy-E, but I can't say if this one got more cult following than Bob Ross, but I had to include him. Now let's move on to 2000s, and there was some during those years, especially some that were gone, like Fred Rogers, which I didn't know he passed away in 2003 until I heard about it 2 years after. But yeah, I do miss Fred Rogers since he ended the Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood show in 2001. And then the 2010s and 2020s, and boy, there were a lot more than the 2000s. Which you could say some were gone due to people knowing them in certain movies, shows, and musics. Honestly, the most deaths for celebrities during those years were 2016 and 2020. Yeah, this is where people that there was too much on both of those years. 2016 had the passing of Prince, David Bowie, Alan Rickman, Gene Wilder, Carrie Fisher, her mother Debbie Reynolds, and everyone would go, geez, 2016 had too much celebrity deaths. And to an extent, yeah, I think Carrie Fisher was the most shocking out of the bunch because on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas and 8 days before New Year's Eve, Carrie suffered a medical emergency before the aircraft landed. A passenger who was sitting next to her said that she had stopped breathing, so she was taken to the hospital. When I heard about it, I was in total shock and I was praying for her. But then 4 days later, she passed away. I heard the passing of her when I was on a winter trip to Auburn, California. Then a day later, her mother, Debbie Reynolds, passed away, which I guess it was the mother-daughter way, even though Debbie was suffering an intracerebral hemorrhage. Now to 2020. Yeah, with that year that ruined the virus, there was also some celebrity deaths. Although some didn't die from the virus, some passed away from cancer, like Chadwick Boseman, the actor who played Black Panther, which was a sad day for Marvel fans, mainly because he was battling cancer since 2016 and he was age 43 when he died. I'll talk about age in a second. And now we're in the year 2021, and there has been a few celebrity, which not as much as 2020, but there will be some in this decade. Plus, the 2010 deaths was hitting hard with celebrities. Robin Williams, a great actor and comedian, who passed away in 2014. In fact, when I heard that he passed away, I was starting college. So yeah, another great legend gone. In November 2018, two famous people passed away in the same month, Stan Lee and Steven Hillenburg. Now, Stan Lee passing away was pretty shocking. It was, because he was getting old and he was battling pneumonia. But the guy was a legend. He made the Marvel comics, he made the superheroes, and he even made cameos in the Marvel movies. Into the Spider-Verse came out 1 month after he passed away, and Avengers Endgame was the last one to have a cameo for him. I hope Stan Lee is up there with Chadwick Boseman. Now moving on to Steven Hillenburg. Now, he passed away at the end of November at age 57. He was diagnosed with this, which I can't pronounce, so I'm putting it here via text. He created the famous Nickelodeon show SpongeBob, which he was working on until 2004, and then 10 years later, he returned to the show to work. So only 4 years after he returned to the show, which, yeah, because SpongeBob was on a wall a bit, so these two passed away on both months. Now I want to talk about ages because it depends on how long they have to pass away. That's where the 3 phases are at. Young people at about less than 30 usually die early. A couple years ago, former Disney Channel star Cameron Boyce passed away due to sudden unexpected epilepsy, meaning that it will cause a seizure. Cameron was only 20 when he passed away. I mean, that's college years. I know I didn't talk about him in my Child Stars topic video earlier this year because he was a kid at the time. So yeah, I know some people younger than me do miss him pretty much. Bottom line, young celebs or people die, and even though they didn't die from something like different causes that older people had. So let's get to the middle-aged. Famous ones like Steven Hillenburg, Carrie Fisher, Prince, and even Michael Jackson that passed away that didn't reach to age 70. The reason why is because of certain ones, and some that didn't even pass away like natural causes. Which is a shame that Michael Jackson was 50 when he passed away in 2009 because he was the king of pop and he was iconic. Now sure, Freddie Mercury, one of the Queen bands, was iconic too, but he was from the 90s and it was due to complications from AIDS. Michael Jackson's cause of death was from cardiac arrest, the same one Carrie Fisher died from. So with that, middle-aged people pass away. Now to the old famous people. You see, that's when they pass away into that stage. Whether from age 80 or age 90 or better yet, age over 100. Yeah, that's a lower percentage of a person that can pass away at over 100. Last year, 2 celebs from the past that passed away. One was Kirk Douglas at age 103 in February, and the other was Olivia de Havilland at age 104 in July. Now, I'm sure if any people know them, I mean, yeah, people may know who Kirk Douglas is because it's Michael Douglas's father, but Olivia de Havilland? Probably not. She played Melanie in Gone with the Wind, but she was in films in like early years. But I wanted to include her because she and Kirk were the one of the oldest stars back in those days. Speaking of age 100, or almost close, some are close getting to 100, although not really a celeb, but a famous person, Prince Philip. He passed away this year back in April at age 99, and he was so close to reaching 100, 2 months to be precise. Same thing with Jean Foray. She was the voice of animated characters such as some from the Looney Tunes and Rocky and Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle. She passed away in July 2017, and she was so close of reaching 100 in September. Again, 2 months close. But yeah, it depends on the healthiness during the years. Now let's talk about the causes of death. I mentioned natural causes, which it could be anything like heart disease, or diabetes, or cancer. Which, yeah, there are types of cancers that could die. like lung cancer, kidney cancer, breast cancer, etc. There are famous people that die from cancer, like movie critic Roger Ebert. He was diagnosed with thyroid and salivary glands in 2002. He had to require treatment that included removing a section of his lower jaw in 2006, which means he can no longer speak. So the speaker device was a way to see what Ebert was writing until he passed away in 2013. Then there's people smoking, which is bad for lungs. Walt Disney, the animation pioneer, was a heavy smoker.
Gasp.
Well, it says on Wikipedia, he was a heavy smoker since World War I, and then in 1966, he was diagnosed, and a month after that, he passed away from a circulatory collapse caused by the cancer. So yeah, I can go on and on about types of cancer, but check them on Google. So let's get to drugs, which yeah, it's about the same as smoking. Drug overdose or toxicity can make it die, like SNL Chris Farley or Glee star Corey Monteith. Yeah, remember the PSA commercials about drugs? Just don't do it. Now, aside from the treatment from a person, what about the assassinations and transportation crash? Well, they come up with something and then the person dies. Famous persons have died from assassinations like President John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert, Martin Luther King Jr., and Beatles legend John Lennon. You see, these people just used a gun and just shot them out of nowhere, which those people who did that to the famous persons could easily go to jail for doing that. Those famous people that got assassinated were important. Now to the transportation crash. These are different because it was transportation that had a famous person passed away. In 2013, actor Paul Walker from the Fast and the Furious movies had his car crash into a concrete lamppost. Early last year, NBA Lakers Kobe Bryant passed away along with his daughter from a helicopter crash. The reason why is because of a heavy fog, and it was in Calabasas, California, which, yeah, fogs are difficult to see when a helicopter is flying. But yeah, that was sad to see Kobe gone, which on that day, he passed away right after my second nephew was born. But I had to put my own fact. Now with all that, there's other variations after death, like what happens to a person who died but finished production. Well, that's called posthumous. Heath Ledger was playing Joker in The Dark Knight. Many people thought he died during production. Well, no, he finished all of the Joker scenes, and then The Dark Knight didn't come out until July 2008. Heath Ledger passed away in January, 6 months before the movie release. Not only that, but he won for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in a role as a posthumous award. So at least he won, but he was gone a year after. Posthumous happens to a celebrity that finished something completely, but the production of a show or a movie wouldn't be finished. I mentioned Paul Walker where he finished some scenes with him in Furious 7, but not fully. So Paul's two younger brothers were used as stand-ins to complete his remaining scenes. So I can understand because they needed a few scenes. Now let's get to the next variation, is what happens for a voice replacement in animation. Well, if someone passes away, they have to find a replacement. Wayne Allwine was voicing Mickey Mouse from 1977 to 2009, but he passed away that year, so a new one named Brett Iwan took his place to voice Mickey Mouse. Same thing that happened to Russi Taylor in 2019. She was the voice of Minnie Mouse for 33 years, and then she passed away. And the new voice for Minnie Mouse is Caitlin Robrock. I'm sure she sounds nice voicing Minnie Mouse, but you can't top Russi Taylor's voice of Minnie. She had that voice during some people's childhood, and I don't count other voice actors before Russi. So yeah, famous people / celebrities, depending on the age, have gone, whether from over a decade ago or weeks ago. We're sure that we miss them all. And two celebrity / famous person who are alive and well. Now, I don't want to jinx it because they would pass away soon, and then it happened. I don't predict everything. Betty White is 99 years old, and she won't be turning 100 in January 2022. Will she turn 100 soon? Well, it's unclear until it gets announced on social media. Same with former President Jimmy Carter. He is the oldest living president as of today, and he's almost turning 97 when October 1st rolls around. And he's been out of the office since 1981 when Ronald Reagan took over. That's 40 years since he left. That's insane. As far as some, I'm sure one day social media will announce that a celebrity will pass away. Only time will tell. The child stars was a way of getting old that a child star or stars that you remember from and they get older. Celebrities are a complete opposite. Sure, some are there today, but some that are gone, they will be missed. Hence this circle of life pattern for new people in the later decades and old comers in the past, and then soon in the future, they will be missed. So that is all for the video about famous person and celebs passing away. I'm sure if it got you emotional, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to do the video because of Norm Macdonald. But yeah, next video is coming up next week, which I was gonna put it out on this day, but I have enough room for October. Also, next topic video will be coming in November. So yeah, take care everyone, stay safe, and get vaccinated. Trust me, we don't want the virus to kill you. But just give me an example. Bye!